CBS 8 is working for you, getting your questions to the people with answers. San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria is with us tonight to answer some of them.
Those include infrastructure and the redevelopment of the sports arena area. Mayor, welcome. I think this is the first time you've been in studio since the pandemic.
Marcella, you're exactly right. It's good to be back. It's good to see you both in person, and it's great to have your AC, which is amazing.
Yes. Well, it's nice to not have you on Zoom. So we get a lot of questions from our viewers, and they want to know about plans that are underway to redevelop the sports arena property, the Midway area. We've talked about that the last few weeks, I mean, for a long time, but especially recently. Now, you've chosen Midway Rising's plan for this 48-acre property. Can you tell us why you picked Midway Rising in particular and what the plans are there?
Absolutely. Bottom line answer. Housing, affordable housing for San Diegans, both low-income and middle-income San Diegans. Midway Rising had the largest number of units, over 4,000 units on that site, as well as the largest new arena. And anyone who's been to our existing sports arena knows it needs some TLC. This will be the largest arena with the largest amount of housing. I think those two things made it the one to beat. It's my recommendation to the City Council, and the Council's Committee on Land Use and Housing will meet to advance a recommendation this Thursday.
Are there any questions about the height limits?
Well, so that's going to be up to San Diego voters. This November, San Diegans will be asked whether or not to lift the height limit in the Midway community only, not the rest of the coastline, but in the Midway community. You might remember San Diego voters overwhelmingly voted to do that in the 2020 election. We've had some court issues and other things. We're going to do a redo. If we do it as we did before, it'll pass handily, and then we can have a new future for the Midway community, not just the sports arena, but the entire community, which I think everyone who goes there can see that there needs a lot of help, a lot of reinvestment, which we can't currently do with the artificially low height limit.
Shifting gears for a second, we get a lot of complaints from our viewers about infrastructure, you know, cracked roads, broken sidewalks, broken lights, etc., especially in our Working For You series. Can you tell us a little bit about the infrastructure improvements the city might be working on and any kind of status on where they are for them?
Yeah. Well, I share their opinion on it. You know, I drive these roads, I walk these sidewalks, I see them myself. What I can do as mayor is make sure the resources are there to get the job done. This budget that we currently have in place is the largest single investment ever in the city's history on infrastructure. And you see it playing out in communities right now. Like if you drive down Friars Road at the I-5, you'll see it's all under construction for our Pure Water project. That's actually going to supply half of our city's water supply in the not too distant future. Road resurfacings across the community. We just paved Midway in the Midway community. El Cajon Boulevard is driving down it over the weekend. You see investments there. But Jesse, the answer is we have underinvested in our infrastructure for decades. And so getting out of this is not going to be done with one budget, but what San Diegans have is my ironclad commitment to understand that infrastructure is critically important and to continue to take their limited tax dollars and put the bulk of those dollars into infrastructure. That's where we get our best return on investment.
And the Get It Done app, I know a lot of people try to use it, but there's a backlog.
There is a backlog, and that actually speaks to the other part. So the first part is financing, right? But the other part is workers, right? And we, like every other employer, is really struggling to have the people to do this work. Right now, we have only a single-digit number of electricians in our city to maintain over 60,000 streetlights. So a lot of complaints to Get It Done are streetlights that have been out for weeks, months, or even years. Very hard to get to all of them with the small number of electricians we have. The City Council thankfully provided me the authority to pay electricians more, and we're going to start recruiting them. But Marcel, that's across the enterprise. The more hands that we have to take those complaints that citizens put in through the Get It Done app is the more hands that we can actually just solve the problem. Again, not going to be done overnight, but my commitment is to make sure that we're staffing up the agencies, we're funding the departments, and we're getting projects done so that you will have more good news to report when you're talking about working for your viewers.
We do get a lot of complaints also about the homelessness epidemic, and you know there's always two sides. There's a lot of advocates for unhoused people because they want to make sure they're taken care of and not just left out with nowhere to turn, but we're also hearing from people that they're tired of the encampments popping up in their neighborhood, and so it seems like a lose-lose situation right now. What do you do to make it a win-win, and what are other cities doing?
Well, Marcella, the truth is, and your viewers need to know this, every city is dealing with this. Often I hear, oh, San Diego is an amazing climate. Well, we have the 5th largest homeless population in the United States. New York has the largest. They don't exactly have great weather. Seattle has a massive population bigger than ours, not great weather. It has nothing to do with the weather. It's that everyone's dealing with this. Everyone's dealing with housing affordability issues. Everyone is seeing the mental health crisis, the substance abuse crisis, particularly opioids and fentanyl. And these are all driving issues. You talked about the two sides of the coin. This is easily the most complex problem there is in public policy these days. And there's no simple solutions other than more housing, right? And often housing is it's controversial and people don't want to see their neighborhoods change. But the fact of the matter is you can be frustrated by what you see. I'm frustrated as well, but we can also lead with compassion. The city in the last year has increased our shelter bed capacity by 25%. Later this week, we're going to open another shelter. Before the year's out, I believe we'll open additional 3 or 4 more, depending on as negotiations go. My commitment is to continue to expand offerings to this population, but that comes with some strings, Marcella. They have to accept the help.
Yes,
I think one of the most important things that happened last week, and we need to talk about it more, is the legislature signed off on Governor Newsom's Care Corp proposal. This is the idea that severely mentally ill people must receive care from their government, and they have to actually accept that care. Those two things going together, I think, will be a game changer for dealing with the severely mentally ill on our streets, which, by the way, is a minority. Most of these folks are working. They're challenged by the high rents in our community, and we have to build more housing that they can afford, that you and I can afford.
Mayor, with the few seconds that we have left, let's talk about this heat that is over us. Excessive, oppressive, in some cases dangerous.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, every bit of information I'm getting is that we are in a very bad position. We have extreme heat with not enough energy. San Diegans, Californians have done an exceptional job conserving energy over the weekend, but we're asking people to continue to do it. If we're not capable of doing that, we will see rolling blackouts. And I just ask folks, listen, the mayor is telling you, don't do your laundry, don't run the dishwasher, take the week off, save the energy, and allow us to avoid the rolling blackouts. Otherwise, I believe we'll be in a position to ask people to temporarily, for about an hour at a time, to lose their power to their home.
It's just been such a long stretch, but we've got to keep on going.
Absolutely.
Mayor Gloria, we're out of time. We could talk for hours. Thank you for coming into live in studio with us today.
My absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Mayor.